Hello my friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm gonna talk about all the problems with Cyno. As a person who mained him for over a year, well, Cyno already has the reputation of being one of the worst limited 5-star, and to be honest it's well deserved. Today's video purpose is to explain why is that true. As a person who has experience with him and has mained him for over a year, I have seen a lot of videos reviewing Cyno, but none of them explain it in a way that I would like. So I decided to make a video myself to talk about Cyno problems, and if you want to get Cyno without knowing his problems, or after you know them you think that you can handle them, well, good luck to you. But if you are not sure if he is worth getting, this is the video for you. And it's important to know that generalization in Genshin is not good, because an account might have everything you need to run a decent Cyno team and another account doesn't. So it's highly specific. Anyway, let's start with the video. The first issue with Cyno is that he is a character that his performance is either at a 0 or 100 with absolute dependence on energy. For me, there are characters, for example like Novelette, that can maintain a performance at 100% all the time, regardless of the enemy numbers, where you can easily use skill and burst to do the charge attack, and his skill only need a cooldown, so you can always maintain his charge attack. And there is characters like Al-Haytham who can maintain 50 to 100% of their power easily. Like you can maintain 2 mirror all the time from burst and charge attack and skill and plunge attack. And the skill factor about Al-Haytham is about maintaining 3 mirrors or not. So he never actually perform at 0. And there is characters like for example Hu Tao that are similar to Cyno, but the difference is that she relies on a fixed skill cooldown and a stamina bar, both refills with time. For example, assume you activate her skill and there is no enemy around. It's fine, cause once the cooldown is over, you can use her skill again. But the same cannot be said for Cyno. His problem is that he performs at a 0 or 100 and he is dependent on his burst, and his energy cost is like 80, which is so high. At the same time, outside of his burst mode he is so weak, like whoever designed his skill to be like this weak destroyed Cyno kit. And I know its purpose is to generate energy, but it's not an excuse for a limited 5-star, a main DPS limited 5-star, to have a skill this weak, especially knowing it has such a long cooldown. Also because he relies on his burst or his energy bar instead of fixed cooldown, that makes him relies on who you are up against to regenerate the energy back, which make him effectively useless against open world enemies. Like if you are against 3 or 4 enemies like who are defeated quickly, you can barely regenerate half of your energy bar even with a decent ER, rendering him like useless for the next 7 seconds in the next fight. The second reason is about his burst kit. Once you activate his burst, he enters the beast mode, I forgot the name. The problem is that if you switch him out, it cancels the burst. So not only he completely relies on his burst for damage, and his bursts have like a high energy cost. If you switch him out, you lose his burst, and his bursts have like 18-second duration. Like by the end of it, most of the buff from other character will end. That makes him less compatible with a lot of the supporting characters. The one that has like short skill duration, short burst duration, making him less compatible with a lot of supporting character. And yes, you can solve that by pairing him with, for example, Nahida or Zhongli, who both have like 22-second duration, but that does not like delete the problem that he is already incompatible with a lot of supporting characters. The third problem is underrated, but to me it's just as important as the rest, that he is a character that is very difficult to build. He requires basically everything: crit rate and crit damage and ton of ER and attack, and most importantly EM. And getting an EM sand is the most rare artifact that you can get. Yes, obviously you can put on him like an attack sand, but this is like a highly specific case, only with Jade Spear for example. And still it's better to put like an EM sand anyway. And I understand each person's luck is different, but look at my case. Like I strong box Thundering Fury for over like 7 months and not a single decent EM sand. For example, Novelette require an HP sand, which is quite common, and you can run him with an HP cup or an HP circlet, making building him quite easy. And I'm pretty sure like most people don't care that much about how difficult it is to build a character, but I do, because resin is a very important resource in this game. I would rather not getting a character like Cyno that even after I farmed for him 7 months, he's still like I feel lacking, while other characters are much more easy to build. And yes, there is a luck factor to it, obviously, so if you want to act like this section doesn't exist, feel free. But it's the fact that Cyno is really difficult to build because he requires an EM sand, an ER, and etc. So be ready for like a hell of a time with the RNG system. Now let's go to the fourth reason, is that the character that Cyno uses in his team, to them Cyno team is a downgrade. For example, let's take the best and most expensive premium Cyno team. Cyno, for example, Furina, Baijo, Nahida. Each of these characters have a better team that they could go for. For example, both Baijo and Furina can be in a Novelette Kazuha Furina Baijo team, and they would perform much better than with Cyno. And let's take for example Nahida. Nahida can be in one of Al Haytham team, and he would be a much more efficient main DPS than Cyno. I'm not saying that Cyno is trash, but at the same time think about it as an opportunity cost. Novelette, Kazuha, Baijo, Furina is arguably the strongest team in the game as of now, and Al Haytham teams are always like in the top 5. So imagine ruining these two teams both to run one single Cyno team that is kinda decent but inferior to the both of the teams. To me it doesn't make any sense unless you want him to work somehow. At the same time, if you use that logic on any character, the character will work. If you disregard opportunity cost and paired him with like OP support, even Diluc with a Furina, Yalan, Bennett team, if you put him with them he will do a lot of damage. Or for example a Razor, Virgin, Hyper Bloom team or Rainbow team. He will work as good as Cyno, and he is a 4-star. In the end it's up to you, but I am just here to inform. The last reason and most important one is simple: Radiant Shogun and Kuki. The existence of both Radiant Shogun and Kuki are the thing that destroyed Cyno. Like especially Radiant Shogun is why like Cyno will never make it into the meta, because Radiant just beat him in almost everything, and I honestly do not like Radiant much. But truth must be told, first thing, as a Hyper Bloom driver, she activates Dendro cores much faster than Cyno, with interval of I think 0.9 of a second, with the ability to do that off field or on field. She is meanwhile like the best battery in the game for all elements, and at the same time as a main DPS carry at C2, Radiant is much better. Her constellation, especially the early constellation, are much better. And normally Archon are the best characters of their element with the exception of Ventia. However, like for example, while Nahida is the best Dendro unit, Al Haytham is still the best Dendro DPS. And Baijo, for example, has his roles as healer, buffer, interruption resistance. So you do not feel that Nahida ended their career despite how OP Nahida is. Meanwhile, Radiant Shogun destroyed Cyno Future despite the fact that he was introduced after her. I think MiHoYo was super scared of power creeping Radiant Shogun that they destroyed Cyno completely, and in the end like Radiant outclasses him in everything, and that is not to say that Radiant is the best unit of all time, but to say how much average Cyno is. At the same time, Kuki provides healing and she is a 4-star and off-field electro application for Hyper Bloom, and she is much easier to build and works in many teams. That way you can run either a team with Nahida as the main DPS with double Hydro, or Al Haytham team who has better damage than Cyno. And even then, like you do not need expensive support to run these teams, and it perform equal or if not better than most of Cyno teams. So basically Cyno is not an upgrade to anything in any way, shape or form. And let's not forget about Kitching. I will make like a detailed comparison between Cyno and Kitching in another video. But to summarize, like Kitching is competitive with him even though she is a standard character. And to me that makes him less recommended. Even if you have a C0 Kitching, the sentence is still a fact. At the end I will still use Cyno because he looks nice to me, and as someone who can easily solo the Abyss, which is the hardest content in Genshin, I have no problem with using him, and the game isn't difficult, and frankly speaking the Abyss isn't important. Its reward is so little anyway. The important thing is that you use the character you have fun with. And because the point of gaming is having fun, like you do not You do not need to delete Cyno from your mind just because he is not meta. However, like, to be honest, meta-wise, I wouldn't recommend Cyno even to my worst enemies. That's all I wanted to say. If you enjoyed it, please comment and share. It would really motivate me to make more videos, and thank you for watching. Peace.